No one wants to believe that they are in an abusive relationship. No one wants to believe that they are getting physically, mentally, and verbally abused on a daily basis. However, one victim finally realized she was a victim of domestic violence and decided to leave her abuser after 11 long months. However, just 1 month later, her abuser contacts her and says, "I want to meet up with you one more time. I'm leaving to go out of town." She agrees. She drives down, she meets him, she gets inside of his car, he has flowers, he has cards, and he tells her, "I want to get back together with you." She says, "This is not why I'm here. We are not getting back together." He gets upset, tells her to get out of his vehicle. She goes to her vehicle, and when she sits down in the driver's seat, there he is, leaning in to give her a kiss. She says, "No, I'm not giving you a kiss. Our relationship is over." What he does next is something only a monster would do, an evil monster. What did this abuser do to his victim? Let's find out right now. Wednesday, my Cajun cuties. Yes, it's me, Anne-Marie, aka the Cajun Crime Queen from Carriacou, Louisiana. Cajun born, Cajun bred, and when I die, I'll be Cajun dead. I hope after this video that you like, subscribe, and comment, and don't forget to press notification bell so you never miss a video from me, Anne-Marie. And as always, thank you all for joining me on this Wicked Wednesday evening as we discuss another true crime case. How are y'all doing on this Wicked Wednesday evening? Thank y'all once again for joining me tonight as we discuss another true crime case. And I don't know about y'all, but I am so excited that it is almost summer. Yes, before we know it, the kids are going to be out of school. There's going to be beach trips and fun things to do. I cannot wait. Summer, as a lot of you may know, is definitely my favorite season of all time. Now, let's get into this case, and let me tell y'all something. I've been knowing about this case for a while now, but it's hard for me to cover because, as a lot of you may know, I am a victim of domestic violence. And this type of violence to your partner is on a whole nother level. Today, I'm taking y'all back to Simmonsville, South Carolina on October 21st, 2017, when a horrific incident occurred. KAYLA Hayes was a beautiful 18-year-old girl, soon to be 19 years old, and just embracing life. She loved life. She was being raised by a single mother who had her as a teenager. And KAYLA says that her mother always showered her with love, affection, and attention. She always felt like a superstar when she was around her mother. KAYLA was extremely outgoing. She was beautiful. She was sweet. Everyone loved her. She loved all things sports, especially soccer, cross country, and she was also a very good dancer. So KAYLA was just embracing all aspects of life. When KAYLA was a young child, she spent tons of time at her grandparents' house. She loved to go to her grandparents' house. And we all know how that is. Every time we go to our grandparents' house, they spoil us. They go to McDonald's. They treat us like little princesses and princes. They just adore us and love us, and they send us back to our parents. KAYLA would spend a lot of time with her cousins, with her half siblings. She just had a fun time at her grandparents' home. However, when KAYLA was around 12 years old, she started withdrawing from people, especially family and friends. She was not the same KAYLA as she once was. Something wasn't right. And that's when, at the age of 12, KAYLA finally told her mother that she was being SA'd for several years by her step-grandfather. Her mother, of course, was in a panic and rushed KAYLA to the police station, and they reported the SA. KAYLA was extremely upset with herself around this time. She said she had a lot of self-hatred towards herself because she probably didn't want to say anything, but realized it was the right thing to do. And I applaud KAYLA for that because she was brave enough to step up and say, this is what's happening to me. I am being SA'd. And she probably didn't want to live with those feelings anymore. She probably didn't like to live like this. So she wanted to tell someone to get it off of her chest. So I applaud KAYLA for that. But this put her in an even deeper, darker depression because maybe the family was like divided for all we know. Maybe some people believed KAYLA. Maybe some people didn't. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just guessing. Maybe that's why KAYLA kind of had this, feeling of, did I do the right thing? So she just was very conflicted with herself until she turned 17 when she met her very first boyfriend, 21-year-old Seth Aaron Flurry. He was good looking, he was sweet, he was charming, and KAYLA was over the moon excited to have her very first boyfriend. Yes, he was a lot older than KAYLA. He was 4 years older. However, KAYLA just loved him so much. They went everywhere together. I saw tons of pictures of them online, and KAYLA looked extremely happy that she had her very first boyfriend, and it did get her out of her depression. However, it didn't last long. The happiness soon faded. Not long after KAYLA and Seth began dating, the relationship turned violent. And KAYLA started withdrawing from her family and friends, stopped playing sports, stopped dancing. She said she was so ready to get into a relationship that she jumped into the first relationship that she came in contact with because she wanted to leave all of her childhood trauma behind her. She was ready to move on from it and thought that this was a good, healthy relationship. However, it wasn't. She said the first time she noticed that Seth was an abuser was when he slammed her into a dresser. And she said after that, he started crying. He fell into her arms. He felt guilty. She held him. And like I said earlier, I am a victim of domestic violence. And when I tell you, they make you feel bad for what they did to you. And they always say they are going to stop, but they never do. It gets worse and worse and worse throughout the days, throughout the weeks, throughout the months. They never stop. KAYLA also says that Seth would constantly speak bad about her mother, her friends, and there was always a problem with everyone. Well, as we all know, abusers like to isolate their victim from everyone else so they don't know what's going on. They want no one to know what's going on with their victim. They want to isolate them and keep them close to them so no one knows. KAYLA says she would often end up with bloody noses, black eyes, but that he never punched her. Now, I don't know what happened. I don't know if he threw her, he hit her. I don't know what happened with that. She never said, but I'm guessing that he did something to cause these bloody noses, these black eyes. But my heart just goes out to KAYLA because she was a 17-year-old kid. This is a kid being abused by a 21-year-old man. And she says that she didn't know what to do. And as we all know, you will literally be full of bruises, a bloody nose, a black eye, and you will stand there as a victim. And trust me, I know I've been through it so many times. You will stand there and you will say to yourself, well, if I didn't do this, he wouldn't have done this. If I didn't do this, he wouldn't have done this. And you realize that you are making excuses for your abuser because you don't want to think that you are a victim of domestic violence. But in reality, KAYLA was 100% a victim of domestic violence, and she was finally realizing that she had to get out of this relationship. KAYLA told no one, especially not her mom. She didn't want her mom to find out about any of this because she knew her mom was going to take legal action. And let me tell y'all something, I would. Oh yes, I know I would. I would definitely take legal action if someone was putting their hands on my baby girls. Absolutely 100%. So KAYLA was tight-lipped about the whole situation. No one knew. And finally, after 11 long months, KAYLA realized that she had enough. She was a victim of domestic violence and wanted out of the relationship. So she finally breaks up with Seth after 11 months, and she was fine. She was happy. She knew that she deserved better than this man. She wanted to be with someone that adored her, that loved her, that didn't put his hands on her. She wanted out of their relationship. A month and a half later, Seth calls up KAYLA and says, hey, I'm leaving for the Navy. I would like to see you one last time. KAYLA was hesitant. She really was. She didn't want to meet up with Seth. Their relationship was over. However, she knew that he was going to come to her house if she didn't agree to meet up with him. And she says she did not want that. She did not want him to come to her house. Why? KAYLA says her mom was out of town for the very first time. Her mom went on vacation. I don't know if she went by herself or with someone. So KAYLA was staying at home alone at this time. And she says she did not want Seth to come to her house. So she told him, fine, we can meet up. I'm going to meet you down the street from my house and we can talk. KAYLA says she got in her car. She went and meet Seth. She got out of her car. She stepped into his car. He had flowers. He had cards. And she said, she told him, I'm not here to get back together with you. He kept asking her that can we get back together? Can we get back together? She says, no, this is not why I'm here. She said that the conversation turned hostile and very, very argumentative back and forth, and she didn't want to be in that situation at the time. But she knew that Seth wasn't right. She was afraid. She was scared. She didn't know what was going to happen next. But she wanted to be out of this situation because she was very frightened at this time. When Seth realized that KAYLA was serious, that KAYLA did not want to kiss him, did not want to get back together with him, did not want to hug him, she wanted to get out of the car, he got aggressive with her and told her to get out of his vehicle. KAYLA gets out. She goes to her car. She's sitting in the driver's seat. All of a sudden, she looks to the left and she sees Seth opening up her car door, and he leans in to give her a kiss. She backs up. She doesn't want to give him a kiss. And that is when he aggressively bites down on her bottom lip. KAYLA says she felt it tear. However, it was extremely numb. After that, she's screaming. He pulls her out of the vehicle, rips up her shirt. She's on the ground. She's in so much pain. He drives away. She doesn't know what's happening at this time. She says she looks down on her pants and she sees that her lip, her bottom lip, is on her leg, covered in gravel. Seth just left her there like that. He just left her. He aggressively tore off her entire bottom lip and left her sitting there on the ground. A man who was taking out his trash heard KAYLA's screams, rushed to her side, and called 911. KAYLA was scared and she was crying. The ambulance came, they picked her up, and she went into emergency plastic surgery. The plastic surgeons were unable to reattach her lip. She went through extensive work to rebuild her mouth. I can't remember, but I think it's around 300 stitches she had around her mouth. It was so sad. It was so very heartbreaking for KAYLA at this time. And do you know what Seth said? Seth said that he wanted to leave his mark for her next boyfriend. If he couldn't have her, no one could. He wanted to destroy her face, I'm guessing. He wanted to make sure no one wanted KAYLA. That's what he was trying to do. KAYLA says that she is going through extensive work right now to rebuild everything around her mouth. She has permanent serious scarring, and she has permanent range of motion in her mouth. She's in pain every day to this day. She deals with this incident every time she looks in the mirror. Even though KAYLA Hayes has permanent scarring on her face, she always tries to keep a positive attitude. Even when she was in the hospital, she joked with the nurses saying that she wasn't going to have to dress up anymore for Halloween due to her face. She was always just happy and trying to keep up her spirits and have a positive attitude. Now, what happened to this monster right here? What happened to Seth Aaron Fleury? Well, he was sentenced to 12 years in prison and will be eligible for parole after serving 85% of his sentence. In my personal opinion, this is my personal opinion, I believe Seth should have been sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. Why? Because he did so much permanent damage to KAYLA. So much damage. She will never, ever get past this because she has to look at what he did to her every day. So in my opinion, he shouldn't get out of jail. But unfortunately, one day he will. Now, KAYLA wanted to make a difference in the world. She didn't just want to hide away. She knew now she was a victim of domestic violence. She says a lot of times, like most domestic violence victims do, they blame themselves. I know I did. We always think that we're doing something wrong. But KAYLA wanted to help others. She wanted to share her story. So KAYLA shared her story on social media. She says she wanted to discuss domestic violence and the signs of domestic violence to other domestic violence victims. She also calls her story, Rise Above, Wear Your Scars as Wings. She just wants to help people and wants to bring a positive vibe to all of her social media accounts. KAYLA also is in a new relationship now. She is happy. She is living life. I watched several YouTube videos on her and she's smiling. She's learning to overcome this horrible incident that happened to her. She also has written a book called She Rises, and it's all about overcoming SA and domestic violence. It talks about things that women need to hear and should hear every day about the signs of domestic violence, because domestic violence is a real thing. So many people have passed away due to domestic violence. My thoughts and my prayers are with KAYLA. I am so very proud of you, KAYLA. So proud of you. You are definitely my hero and a lot of heroes to a lot of different people, because you have just rose above everything that you've been through. So keep it up and keep going. Now I want to share a story with y'all, because as y'all all know, I'm a victim of domestic violence and it is very hard to get out of the situation. Trust me, I know. That's why I'm telling you now, if you are in a relationship and there is domestic violence, get out now. Email me, call me, do whatever. I'm here for each and every one of you. One day, I was in the house with my abuser and I was leaving to go to the gym. And he said, "No, you're not. You're not going to the gym." And I'm like, "Who are you to tell me what I can and can't do? I'm going to the gym, whether you like it or not." And he said, "If you go to the gym, I'm leaving." I'm like, "That's fine. There's nothing wrong with me going to work out. I am going to the gym." I start walking out. He starts walking out. As I'm walking out, he comes from behind me, scoops me up, and my arms are just like down. So I couldn't get away. I was stuck like that. And bites down on the back of my head, bites down on it. And I'm screaming. It's hurting so bad. It is killing me. And I have a lot of hair and I felt it. And then he just drops me to the ground, kicks me and walks out. Didn't do anything. Didn't say, "I'm sorry." Didn't say, "Are you okay?" Nothing. So I know the feeling of being in a toxic, abusive relationship. It takes a while to get out. This man was so abusive, so mentally crazy, that one time I was cleaning my bathtub and didn't answer the phone for 4 minutes, y'all. 4 minutes, and had over 50 missed calls. That's how crazy he was. And at that time, I thought everything was my fault, everything. Because I didn't answer, I should be in trouble. Because I was going to the gym, I should be in trouble. I used to remember myself taking a shower. And as I was taking a shower, I would look down, I would be covered in bruises all over my body, just covered, and still didn't want to realize that I was in an abusive relationship. This was very abusive. But it takes time for someone to realize that they are a victim of domestic violence. So I'm just letting y'all all know to walk away, because it never gets better. It took me a while. It may take you a while, but don't wait until it's too late. Don't have, permanent scarring or get yourself, murdered or, something horrific like that. Walk away now and don't look back, because they will never change. My final thought, I always give y'all my final thought. And my final thought is, if you are in an abusive relationship, walk away now. Doesn't matter if it's physical, mental, verbal. If you're in any type of abusive relationship, walk away from it, because it never gets better. And coming from a domestic violence victim, I know, just like KAYLA knew, Seth was never going to change. They don't change. It just gets worse because they're so insecure with themselves that they can't understand that you are not doing anything wrong. They think that they can control you, that they can control your every move. And it's not like that. That is not a happy, healthy relationship. I know what a happy, healthy relationship is because I'm in one now. And my man would never lay a hand on me, ever. No matter what I do, he would never do anything to harm me. And I know that. And you should know that as well. So if you're in any type of domestic violence relationship, no matter what it is, no matter how you get out now because they never change. And I love the fact that KAYLA decided to rise above it. She did. She didn't want to, look at herself and be like, I'm stuck like this. I'm not telling anybody. I'm not going to advocate for anything. I'm just going to, hide in my house. No. She says, yes, I have these scars. I'm going to wear my scars as wings, and I'm going to help other domestic violence victims because she wants them to get better. She wants them all to know that you don't have to go through this. And if you are going through it, you don't have to go through it alone. And she wants to help others. And I'm just so happy about that because she didn't have to do this. And it just makes me so proud of her. I mean, like I said earlier, she's my hero. I love her and I wish I could do stuff like that, And it's just amazing how she overcame everything and she's turning in something that was really negative into something positive for other victims of domestic abuse. So my heart goes out to KAYLA. I wish you nothing but the best. I hope after this video that you like, subscribe, and comment. And don't forget to press notification bell so you never miss a video from me, Anne-Marie. And as always, stay safe. Always be aware of your surroundings and always know that I'm here for each and every one of you. I will see y'all next week with more Cajun Crime Queen videos. And as always, thank you all for the love and support. And for you, I am truly grateful. I love each and every one of you. Y'all all have a good night. And thank y'all once again for joining me. Bye.